Joe Biden officially announced that he's running again. Donald Trump officially announced that he's running again. If that's the matchup, who do you think wins?
If the election's held today, I think Biden.
Why?
Well, first of all, I believe he won last time. And if I start with the results from 2020 and I think to myself, what has happened since then that would push or pull voters one way or the other, I have a hard time making a case that Trump is in a better position today than he was in November of 2020. So that's kind of my starting point, which is it's a rematch of an election with a known outcome. What has changed? And I can't make a case for circumstances having changed in Trump's favor. To give a couple of state level examples, Florida seems to be kind of moving more to the Republican side since 2020, but Trump won that state already in 2020, so it wouldn't really change the outcome. Arizona was close. I think Arizona has moved to the left since 2020, so I don't see Trump taking that one. Wisconsin, I think the same sort of thing applies. So being very practical, that would be kind of the start of my reasoning.
Do you think Joe Biden is a better candidate now than he was in 2020?
I think he's a worse candidate. This is going to sound ageist, but I think he's a worse candidate in that he's even older and there already seems to be an appetite for younger candidates, particularly on the Democratic voting side. So he's going to be 4 years older, and in a sense, that could be a liability. However, he also is going to have 4 years of accomplishments. Now, you might not like the things he's done, in which case that would hurt him. But he has started to accumulate a not insignificant number of accomplishments. Some of the big things that are known, Inflation Reduction Act and COVID stimulus, but also less well-known things like a bunch of little tweaks to healthcare, a bunch of little tweaks to student lending. There's been a lot of little things. At the macro level, I don't actually think Joe Biden has that much to do with this, the same way I didn't credit or attack Trump for a lot of the macroeconomic stuff, but inflation has started to come down significantly. The stock market's quite steady. These sort of things. I think looking historically, it's a pretty okay environment for Joe Biden, with the exception that he was already the oldest president to be inaugurated in 2021, and he would beat his own record in January of 2025. And I just don't know how voters are going to see that.
So in terms of just a public human being, how would you compare Trump and Biden? So if I were to give criticism towards Trump, it would be that he's chaotic, maybe to the point of being disrespectful to a lot of different groups, to a lot of different ideas, to a lot of different nations and leaders and all that kind of stuff. And then the criticism towards Biden would be that he, maybe perhaps because of age or any other kind of cognitive capabilities, is not really there mentally as in the way that perhaps you could say like Barack Obama was there, just mentally being able to handle all kinds of aspects of being a public representative of a nation to the world and to the people of that nation. So which in the competition of personality flaws, which do you think is more powerful?
You've laid out fair and I believe accurate assessments of elements of both of those men.
Yeah.
You haven't weighed in on to what degree you value each of those assessments, which is where I think the kind of meat of this question really is. I don't see, and I know that Biden's going to get us into World War III. World War III doesn't seem to be happening. I don't see the Biden deficits you listed, which I agree with you on. I don't see them as dangerous or threatening to the standing of the United States in this kind of environment with our traditional Western allies and geopolitics, et cetera, in the way that the sort of unhinged personality of Trump combined with his lack of knowledge about most issues is a threat. So for me, if those two are the candidates, Biden would be my choice. Now, are there people I would rather see on the Democratic side? Yes. If I knew the president would be a Republican, can I think of better options than Trump? Absolutely. It's so funny when in 2012 it was Obama versus Romney. The difference seemed so significant between them. Thinking back, I'm sure I would disagree with Mitt Romney about tax rates, and his views on LGBT I know are different than mine. But it seems, without looking at him with rose-colored glasses, so comparatively benign given the 4 years of Trump. So that's kind of where I come down.
Even McCain and
Absolutely.
Obama, the differences seemed quite drastic.
Yeah. McCain was interesting because Palin, as his running mate, opened the door to the sort of cartoonish stuff that we've started to see on the Republican side. Palin, Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, it started going in that direction, which has made the party a bit of a joke, aside from what you believe the tax rate would be, right? You can say taxes are too high, but Jewish space lasers, come on, So, but I agree with you on McCain also.